The impulses want to play the tyrant. One must invent a counter-tyrant who is stronger. Good afternoon. This is going to be a different video than I usually post. It's not going to be scripted. I just have a few notes right here. So it's going to be a little free flow. But I'm going to talk about the NoFap / Semen Retention journey that I've been on. It's been 7 days right now. I think it's important to talk about this because to become an overman, one has to conquer himself, and there are different kind of realms that one has to conquer, and lust is one of them. But before I'm going to jump in on what the benefits are and what my experience were with the 7-day NoFap, I'm going to give you a slight backstory on why I started fapping. So before jumping in, just a concise reason is I basically had a shit childhood, and because of this I created coping mechanisms. I've been born into a, well, let's just say broken family with emotional and psychological, well, quote-unquote abusive parents, which led me to have, well, PTSD, how they call it, and thus in turn this PTSD turned into anxiety disorder, general anxiety disorder, and it led into isolation, and then the snowball of the vicious cycle started running, rolling. Then I started looking at things to cope with, and this was basically isolation and video games. And eventually, when I was like 12 years old, I started fapping. So it was just the combination of completely isolating myself, playing video games and fapping that led to myself being in a state of self-medication. I used it to soothe the pain, to get some dopamine, because I had undiagnosed ADHD at that point. Throughout these years I thought that it was a byproduct from PTSD, but it turns out that both sides of my family have someone who has real ADHD, and I've also got diagnosed. So yeah. And next to that, fapping also gave a false sense of love, which I didn't get it much at home. So it was like the ultimate recipe for me to indulge in. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I was very bad in school. So it basically was a vicious cycle, home was basically hell, and then going to school was basically hell. So the only thing that gave me some mental rest and some, let's just say soothing, was either staying indoors, being isolated in my room, playing video games, fapping, and then going to sleep. Those were the only quote-unquote activities that gave me some soothing at that point. But eventually you grow older and you learn to fix a lot of stuff. If I look back now, when I was 12, okay, I started, and at 16 I started a little bit with self-improvement. I'm now 27, but after I would say 20, I went real hard. I learned communication because I also had anxiety disorder. I built on my body I started with bodybuilding and powerlifting and strongman a little bit, and now just strength training, mainly for martial arts. Martial arts. I also started kickboxing, MMA, I did grappling, meditation, of course, journaling, reading a lot, living in the present, and more mental, let's just call it transmutable esoterics, or whatever you want to call it, Jungian, and etc. I'm just at the start of it, but I'm still growing. So yeah, that was basically the reason why I started fapping. I'm still not there. I'm just it's just beginning stage. But if I look now at this point where I am now compared to where I was, it's a huge difference. So if you're struggling right now, it will get better, but you have to put a lot of work in. Some people have to put in more work, like I do. But you know, it is what it is. I've had streaks when I were like 60 days, so I know I can do it. And especially now, I'm basically living like a savage, like a monster, and it works. That's the only thing that works for me. It's to live like some kind of Spartan. So that's just for me. Everyone is different. I just cut out everything. I don't watch movies anymore. Don't watch series. I don't eat junk food. I don't drink alcohol. I don't take drugs. I almost don't go out. It's just work, martial arts, lifting, meditating, reading, and YouTube, and that's basically it. So it's a harsh and lonely life, but it's the only cure for me. And I think this way I can not only help myself but also reach others, and they will also help themselves. So that's basically my main goal of this whole channel, is to become the overman, quote unquote, and then spark the Kindle of the future generations, so that my followers can also start their own path. Yeah, so that's basically the goal of this channel. So that was basically the intro. I'm going to talk about the benefits that I've experienced the first 7 days, and then also the negatives, because there are a lot of negatives. And I've seen on YouTube that people talk a lot about the benefits. They have like a picture on the left side. They have like day one, and they're like someone who hasn't who's almost crying, and he has no energy and whatever. And then the second picture on to the right, it says 30 days, and he's like powerful and whatever. It's a bull crap. It's very hard, because we're basically addicts. So it's not going to be fun. I'm just going to put it out, but you have to do it to evolve and to be happy. That's the thing, because you need power to be happy. That's the only thing throughout all these years that I've found that makes me happy. That's just power, just like Nietzsche said. Power to overcome yourself, your mind, whatever it is in life. That's what will make you happy. It won't come from the outside. It's happiness and power will be from within. So that's something you have to take care for. So let's just dive into the first 7 days. On day one, well, sure, the benefits is that you have motivation to start, but that's basically the only benefit, because most of the time you feel like crap. What I've experienced is blurry vision. It was like I constantly had like water in my eyes. You have like that blurry vision. Well, that sucked. It was hard for me to tie sentences together when I was talking to people. I was like constantly thinking about the words. They weren't, for some reason, they were just from my imagination. They went away. I didn't have any vocabulary left, but whatever. I had no confidence the first day. I had a lot of brain fog. I was tired and not at ease. However, it does get better. The second day, the benefits that I experienced were that I could tie sentences together a little better. It wasn't as good as day 7, but it's better than the first day. My confidence increased slightly, just a little bit, but I've still had blurry vision, brain fog, and tiredness. And the problem was that urges started to come back. The urge to eat junk food, the urge to play video games, and to fap. And my ADHD got worse because I had a lot of trouble with sensory overload and whatever not. So that sucked, but we keep on going. The third day, The benefits that I've experienced was a massive decrease in brain fog. I would say like 60% less. I had an energy increase, and my confidence was getting higher. I was also, walking more with my chest up. Just feeling more confident that way. I was a little more at ease, and the blurry vision was completely gone. And the experience was, I was getting better. So that was great. But then, of course, it always gets worse. So on the 4th day, I had normal brain fog. So instead of 60% lowered on day 3, on day 4, I had zero brain fog. My energy got better. I wasn't tired anymore, and I was more extroverted. I had like this internal flame that I wanted to talk to people. It was just a small flame, but it was there. However, what I've experienced is that the anxiety that I had increased. I started to have nightmares and cravings again for junk food, fapping, and video games. And for some reason, my PTSD got triggered, so I was in this kind of fight or flight state. So my adrenaline was high, and I couldn't think straight and whatever. But I found out that was my past. That was just my mind, my ego, and the ego which I had is based on the trauma that I went through when I was a kid and the way I had to act. But I'm evolved now, so I'm not that person, but it's still there. So I'm detaching from it, which is hard, but it's for some reason when I stay in the present and I just focus on my goals, eventually the feeling of living in an abyss goes away. I think that Eckhart Tolle talks about it in his book Power of Now, and it works. It's hard to implement it in your life, but it works. So I'm just getting better at that, but we'll see how it goes. Well, what else? That was day 4. Then day 5. Day 5, it always get a little better. I was getting more extroverted. I was getting better at communication. I gained more confidence, was also calmer. And I had of course, less negative thoughts, so that's a great thing. But I also had to the will to communicate with people, and not just with women, but also with men. I wanted to bond with people. I wanted to create I'm not saying community, but it's like, it's hard to explain. I just wanted to be out there, be part of the community. Let's just say that was the case. I would say day 6 was my best day. My confidence was so good, man. I was walking among the people in the city, and I was just, walking slowly with my chest up. I was staring at in the distance. I saw people, were either getting rejected by me, or they were either rejecting me or they were, getting attracted to me, which is weird. I had a dominant presence, I would say. I felt like I was, it might sound weird, but I felt like I was better than the average person there. And it's hard to explain, but it's like feeling of superiority, even though my mind is still messed up, but it was fun to see. Well, what next? Let's see. I started to focus more on the routine that I created. So what I said earlier about reading and meditating and going to the gym, etc. So that was a great thing. I got more happy for some reason. I got more calm, less anxious. I had better sleep. A lower heart rate for some reason. I don't know, it could be because I had lower stress levels. No idea. And for some reason, my eyes look more energized, more viral, more savage, more animalistic. And that's the main thing I've noticed in terms of physical. Maybe a little, my skin complex got a little bit better, but I would say just the eyes. I also feel constant pressure behind my eyes for some reason. What it is. But you know, I also had some well, is it a negative thing? Yeah, we could say it's a negative thing. So the experience that was negative on day 6 was this: the sexual tension that I had and lustful thoughts before sleeping were sky high, and I had a lot of trouble in calming my mind at that point. Especially because I always have like 4 thoughts in at the same time because of the ADHD, but this time it was really hard to calm me down, but eventually it did because I completely stayed in the now. And when these thoughts came up, I could go back to the now. So it's just a constant rope pulling contest, but eventually I managed to win. So there's that. And then eventually on day 7, where we're at now, I would say the only benefit that I feel right now is that I am really beginning to start to be in the present. Because I have a lot of negative experiences today. I've had nightmares again. I was actually feeling depressed. I had trouble getting out of bed, even though my bed is like, well, I can show it to you, but it's like a yoga mat with a pillow. That's it. Because I'm living that Spartan lifestyle, etc. But I was feeling down for some reason, tired, no motivation, and my anxiety is up. I didn't want to create this video, but just like I said, I have to live in the now and focus on my goals. That's the only thing I have to do. And creating videos is one of my goals. To it helps, it aids in becoming the overman and to create more overmen and to help you guys out. So I just have to do it, regardless of how I feel. I think the video that I posted yesterday, it was me, kicking a metal pole with my shins to condition them. And I thought about it. I mean, if I can, kick a metal pole, why can't I create a video when I feel tired? So it's weird, man, how discipline works. But that's basically it. I also have to say that I'm currently doing some kind of dopamine detox, just like I said. I don't watch any movies, don't drink alcohol, don't play video games, don't watch movies. I do watch some YouTube videos, but those are in regards to when I'm creating my own. So it could be inspiration, or it could be just the way how people make their intros or their outros. So I'm just still learning because this channel isn't that old. I mean, it's like I think my first video was like 2 months ago. So I'm still growing. I still have to learn a lot, but I think I'm doing great. Well, I'm doing it better than expected, I would say. Sure, there are a lot of people with like way more followers and way more views than me, but I think I'm on organic growth, and I think also it's a great idea not to grow that quickly. Otherwise, I might lose the hunger to put in effort, and I don't want that, because I want to create quality videos that could help people out. So there's that. So going back to the Nietzsche quote, and I quote, "The impulses want to play the tyrant. One must invent a counter tyrant who is stronger." I have done this by taking a good look at these impulses, which are basically just the child in me who is scared, who is isolated, who needs comfort. But I created a new tyrant, the new me, who is Spartan, a Nietzschean, a Promethean barbarian, who doesn't need that kind of comfort and who can save himself and the child from the present. So what Nietzsche said is, you just have to become stronger than your impulses. If you can control your impulses, you can control yourself and conquer yourself. That's what he meant, and that's what I'm currently doing, and it's the only thing that works. The only cure for your problems is hard work and discipline. And it's going to suck. It's going to suck physically, it's going to suck mentally. You know, I feel bored right now. I don't want to do this. I want to play video games and, you know, fap and whatever. But that's just my mind. It just needs the soothing. But I get way more feelings of, you know, soothing and happiness if I just stay in the present and reach my goals. So that's the message I want to give you today. Don't listen to your mind and the impulses. Focus on the present now. Focus on your goals. Those are your top priorities. It doesn't matter what kind of impulses you have if your body wants to do something that's unnatural, like eating junk food or playing video games or whatever. You have just have to leave it behind. Otherwise, you'll never reach your goals. It took me a long time to figure this out, but that's the only cure. And sure, you know, there are people, you know, that have even worse childhood than I have, or better, and they might have more success or less success in this goal. But it's going to take a lot of work. But I think you can do it, just like I can. So I hope you guys enjoy the content. If you like the video, you know, please give a like, subscribe. I will try to create weekly NoFap videos until, you know, something like day 30. Then it's just the next video is going to be day 16 and day 90. And of course, every Saturday I will create a Nietzschean video. First starting at well, just call it a body series, talking about the body. Then the next series is going to be about the mind. And the next could be about either discipline, philosophy, or motivation, or religion, or whatever. So stay tuned and enjoy your day.